All right, everybody, we are here. It's been a while since we've been able to do an interview, but we are excited on who we have tonight, and I'll let this young lady introduce herself.
All right, so hi, my name is Avery Lilly. I'm a shooting guard in the class of 2025 from Summers County High School.
First off, thank you for taking the time out and talking with us this evening. I know you all had, I don't want to say a rough ending to the season, but a heartbreak end to your season. What do you all have to do to get back to Charleston and play for another championship?
So we definitely lost two key players in Sullivan Pavant and Liv Metter, and we're going to have a lot of growing to do just working together. I believe for our team to be successful, everyone has to buy in to playing their role, doing what they need to do, and not trying to do too much, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Just good at and really strive in that. And then definitely some of us returning players like Gracie Harvey, Abby Persinger, and then me will have to we'll have to pick up some slack in terms of kind of thing.
Definitely understandable. I mean, you lost two big pieces to your team from last season. What do you think was your biggest improvement from the beginning of last season to the end of the season?
So I really feel like my composure improved a lot from the beginning of my sophomore year to the end. And even more, I feel like now being able to play with the lights on me and being able to succeed in big moments. Because at the beginning of the season, I felt like I still had to prove myself and that I needed to show everyone that I was good enough to be there. And by the end, I just accepted the player that I was and I could go out and do what I needed to do.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt. You might have not been a household name when the season started last year, but I mean, it's been fun to watch you grow, and it's definitely we're excited for this upcoming season too. You talk about playing in the championship game last year. You all didn't come out on top against a tough Wyoming East team, but I mean, you all played them during the regular season. You have a very, very tough region to even get to the state tournament. Talk about how that prepares you for the state tournament.
Oh man, our region, Region 3, is probably one of the toughest regions in the entire AA class. We've got Central, Chapmanville, Wyoming East, and Summers County that are all, I really feel like, contenders for a state title. So I remember thinking in the moment, Coach Metter scheduled 2 games in a week. He scheduled Mingo Central and Wyoming East, like 3 days apart. And I was like, what are we doing? Also worn out from the first game. I think we played Mingo Central first, and I remember being so confused as to why would you choose to do that. But then you go to the state tournament, and that's exactly how it is. It's great team after great team after great team, and there's really no time to regroup or to get some rest. Like, you've just got to be ready to go. And I feel like that really prepared us, playing so many very talented teams with very talented coaches that maybe other regions don't have that advantage.
Yeah, and that's the big thing, and we've talked about it multiple times. And I mean, I get the region thing. I definitely understand where you want everybody represented. I do understand that, but at this point, you need to break it down because there's teams that are in Charleston, whether you look at single A to 4A, that aren't great teams, but where their regions are weak, you just need to break it down and say, okay, your top 16 teams are your postseason teams. The top 8 host, just like football.
Right.
And then your final 8 teams make the Charleston, whether that's 4 teams from Charleston, 3 teams like you all, Mingo, Wyoming East, all from the same region. I mean, you want your best 8 teams in Charleston, but that's a story for another time. What is one thing that you've been working on this off season to improve your game?
One of the biggest parts of basketball is being able to handle the ball, especially handling the ball under pressure. And I'm about 5'7", and I've been 5'7" since I was in like 4th or 5th grade. So and I've moved out to the guard, and now I'm playing some point guard for my high school team as well. So it's been a huge adjustment over the years of learning to dribble confidently with pressure defense. And I feel like that's something I've really worked on, just stationary ball handling, and then experience in games where I usually had older players to do that kind of thing. Time to step up and be that player for my team. And I feel like I look at film and I just kind of cringe at myself from my freshman. Oh man. I can ball very well, but I'm doing better now, and I just keep working on it every day.
And that's the big thing. And it's good to critique yourself, but when you go back and look and you say, okay, but you also are learning from that too. You're like, okay, this is what I don't need to do, but this is
Yeah.
also what I need to do. I mean, I definitely get it, and it's a big change to point guard, especially at the high school level. What are your goals for this upcoming season? I know everybody's goal, whether it's a personal goal, obviously everybody's goal is to make the state tournament and win a championship. So don't give us the cliche answer. Oh, we want to cut down the nets. That's what everybody tells us. So I'm going to put you on the spot, and I'm going to ask you what are like team goals you all have other than winning a state title, and then what are some personal goals that you'd like to achieve this season?
Absolutely. So, in terms of team goals, I think we say that we're a family. Like that's one of before every game and every huddle, 1, 2, 3 family. And I really want this year for our team, for our older players and our younger players to just embody that, to become really like a family, to come together in hard moments, come together in the good moments. And that's something I feel like we've had here for a few years, but I really just want to improve upon it and just keep that legacy going. And then as well with the team, I just really want to see more players in varsity games. We have a couple really good players off the bench, and I'd love to see everyone develop and be able to come in and make an impact on the game. But that's an individual choice. Like as I said earlier, all of our players have to buy in.
Right.
And if they don't, you lose out on those extra,
Right.
6, 8 game,
Yeah.
which
And
a
that,
lot of difference.
oh, 1,000%. And that's the big thing that we've seen. I mean, doing what we do is if you buy in, it, it turns into something special. But you have to have the whole team buy in. I mean, we definitely get that. And it's special to see when you have a whole team buy in and see what happens. But now we've hit you with the hard hitting questions. Now we're gonna have a little bit of fun. So pregame, what is blasting in those headphones in the locker room or whatever? What is one song that you have to have pregame?
Oh, this is gonna sound really strange. Line of Sight by Odessa has been like my song I listen to pregame since 8th grade. And I really not a hype song.
Right,
It's but I am a really naturally anxious, hyped up, competitive person anyway. So I really just need to focus on calming down and getting
right.
locked. So that song for some reason has always been there for me and helps me out when I needed it.
And that's the big thing too that a lot of people don't understand is when you come into a game and you're like, all right, I got to get hyped up, I got to get ready. Like, no, like there's times when you're a little too excited, and then you just come out flat. But if you're calm and level headed and ready for the game, I mean, it's amazing to see. But all right, last question, and I'll let you get off here and I'll let you get home. After a game, after practice, what is the go-to meal for Miss Avery Lilly after a game?
Honestly, the leftover spaghetti. I'm not even joking. 4 games. I ran cross country as a freshman, and my coach was huge in helping me, I think, stamina wise with basketball because I learned how to fuel my body properly. I learned when to eat carbs, when to eat proteins, that sort of thing in alignment with when I'm going to play. So, like before games, the day before, maybe 2 days, I pack a lot of carbs to get a lot of energy when I play. So, usually there's a lot of leftover spaghetti in basketball season where we have a game like week. So, I
I
really love
get
it
it.
a lot for me. And that's just something that always reminds me of her.
I'm not mad at you for that. I definitely get it. We're definitely excited. We're definitely excited to follow you this season. We'll definitely get a couple more interviews with you during the year, probably closer to the season. But I'll ask one more thing. I just got a text about to ask this question. So we're going to ask this question. Um, what is one thing that or one person that you mold your game around?
Mm.
Who is that person and why is that person important to you?
So, this is really cool because this was one of your guys' athletes back a couple years ago. You remember Taylor Isaac, Summers County? She has been one of my biggest inspirations in basketball since she was a freshman. Like being a young girl growing up here, having teams going to the state championship not state championship, sorry, state tournament every year. Like it just is something I really looked up to and wanted to do as I got older. And she made a huge effort to encourage me and to do drills with people. Like she would call us and do ball handling drills with us. She always had time to talk with me, or like I could shoot her a text right now and I feel like she would answer me. Like she was there for me, and I feel like she genuinely cared about other players and wanting everyone to get better and wanting to make herself better. So I really model just her work ethic in my game. We play very different styles, but I've definitely tried to pick up on, maybe I can steal some of her 3-point shooting ability.
There you go. And that's the thing. And what's funny about it all now is she's playing soccer. Um, we talk to her, we keep in touch. Obviously now we're representing her brother. But the funniest thing is we got told that, hey, she's not playing basketball anymore. And I'm like, oh, okay, she's just going to school. I mean, that happens. They were like, nope, she's playing soccer. I'm like, huh, okay. um, but yeah, we're excited. We're definitely gonna at least get to one game, if not more, and hopefully we'll see you down in Charleston this year.
Absolutely. I'd love to see you guys.
Well, Avery, we appreciate you, and you take care, and we'll definitely be in touch.
You guys too. All right.
Thank
You have a
you.
good
You too.